Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In today's video, we're taking a look at the Snackbox Micro from JunkFood Arcades. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, for those of you who don't know what this is, simply by looking at the picture. At a high level, it is a stickless arcade stick, or a hitbox, where buttons are used for movements instead of a joystick, and it's primarily used in fighting games and arcade games. They call it a Snackbox Micro because this thing is extremely tiny, and if we take a look at some of the features here, they say it supports PC, PS3, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. It has customizable LEDs for each individual button, as well as mechanical switches. Now, full disclosure, JunkFood Arcades did send me this for review. The first thing I noticed when I opened the box is the nice artwork on the inside of it. The Snackbox Micro is packaged nicely in bubble wrap. Underneath is a foam keychain, which if you take a look at it is almost the exact same size as the Snackbox Micro. And last but not least, a micro USB cable that's braided. Now, taking this out of the package upside down, and the very first thing I notice is the nice foam on the back of this with the word micro engraved into it. On the front of this, it's pretty simple. It's a flat black color with a nice texture. So it's black on the top, black on the bottom, and white in the center. I would say this kind of looks like an ice cream sandwich. The Snackbox features fully removable buttons. They use a Kailh low-profile mechanical switch, and you can swap them out if you don't like them. The buttons just kind of clip into it. When I first plugged this in, I was pretty surprised at the LED effects. Each button is individually lit, and everything is completely customizable. What I'm going to do is shut off the lights and show you how this looks in the dark. Aside from some pretty cool changing effects when this stick is just sitting around idly, each button will change color when you press it and then slowly fade to a different color. You can adjust the colors, you can adjust the brightness, you can even turn them off if you don't like them. Now for me, I set this to go from a light blue to a dark blue. I really like these colors together. I've used the Snackbox Micro pretty heavily and I've put it through its paces, so I'll go over my overall thoughts. In terms of build quality, this thing is put together a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Not that I thought it was going to be bad or anything, but this thing is pretty darn solid. There is a metal plate on the bottom of this, so I can't really bend it and warp it if I wanted to. It is light, but there's also a bit of heft, and if I knock on it, it's not a hollow sound. Now, in terms of durability, JunkFood Arcades posted a video of them running over this thing with a full-size pickup truck, and it still worked. So I'm not really worried about this thing breaking. This is also incredibly small, and it's one thing I really wanted to point out here. I didn't realize how small this was until I actually got a hold of it. Here's the Snackbox Micro sitting on top of the original hitbox. And even though it's smaller than the hitbox, there are no sacrifices in terms of button placement. Here is how thin it is compared to the original hitbox. Here it is compared to the Quamba Drone, which is my current travel stick. Again, just a fraction of the overall width. Here is the Micro beside a Paradise Arcade Empress, courtesy of Akula MD on Twitter. The Paradise Arcade Empress is already a pretty small hitbox that was also run over by a car and survived, but you can see how much smaller the Snackbox is in comparison. Not only is this thing small, portable, and light, it's also extremely comfortable to use, and that's something that really surprised me. I thought it would be sacrificing a little bit of comfort given its overall size, but this thing sits on my desk very nicely, it sits in my lap very nicely, and overall, I'm extremely pleased with it. I like the quality of the foam pad on the back of this. It grips really well to my desk as well as to my pants if I'm playing with this on my lap. But if for some reason this is too light for you and it's shifting around, JunkFood Arcades has you covered. They sell a heavy metal plate for this that adds some significant weight to the bottom. I noticed that the bottom of this is beveled, so it's not sharp at all, but the sides and the corners of this are not beveled, and it might bother some people because it might be a little bit too sharp for you. If it is too sharp, you could just get some very fine sandpaper and just go over it once or twice and just take the edge off. I do have one minor complaint about fit and finish on this, and that's with the micro USB port. It's positioned a little bit further back than I'd like to see. It's not an issue at all with the cable provided, but if you wanted to switch up this cable for maybe a longer cable or a different cable altogether, it might not fit in this Snackbox. What you might have to do is trim away just a little bit in order for that other cable to fit. I tried about 5 or 6 different cables and I could only get one of them to fit. Now moving on to the buttons, and the first thing I want to talk about here are the top buttons. They're not labeled, so you will have to memorize them. The first button here is the LED button, where you can adjust your LED effects. Then you have L3, R3, your touch button on the PlayStation pad, your home button on PlayStation or on your Xbox controller, you have select and then start. And as for the buttons on the rest of this controller, the mechanical switches can be removed and replaced if you want. The stock switches are Kailh low profile reds. It's a linear switch with an actuation force of 50 grams. If you want to switch these out, you can, but you are limited to other Kailh low profile switches. Fortunately, there are a ton of them, and I'll leave a link in the description below. If you have never used buttons like these before, they are different than Sanwa buttons. I wouldn't say different in a bad way, I wouldn't say different in a good way, just different altogether. They aren't as sensitive as Sanwa buttons, and some people might like that, some people might hate that. If you take a look here, they aren't hard to press in, but they do require a little bit more travel time. So I can press this jump button down about 50% of the way, just under that, and it's not going to register. As soon as I press this to 50%, the button registers. Now for the button tops, the part where you actually press down, these are completely custom, and they're a little bit concave as opposed to convex, so they go in as opposed to kind of bump out. Now this is not a bad thing. I like the way they're textured, I like the way they feel, and I was actually really surprised when I used these for quite a bit of time and my fingers didn't get tired. That's a huge plus. The buttons are easy to remove and clean under. I quite like them, but I will mention one thing. If you like to double tap and you use a lot of force, and if you're double tapping with these buttons, your finger may actually catch the edge of the inside right here on the case, and the edge is a little bit sharp. So what you could always do is just pop the button off and run some sandpaper along the insides to take the edge off. But that's just one thing that I would like to point out. I didn't notice it at all because I don't smash the buttons down, but if you're one of those people with a heavy finger, you might notice that your fingers catch the inside of that lip. Now in terms of compatibility, inside this Snackbox Micro is a Brook board with custom firmware. It's compatible with PC, PS3, PS4, and Nintendo Switch. And I ran into 0 issues here. Now in terms of price, the Snackbox Micro is priced at $185, which puts it in the same ballpark as sticks like the Quamba Obsidian and the Hori Fighting Edge, as well as the OG HITBOX. The OG HITBOX is priced at $200, so $15 more. And I would say here, priced at $185, the Snackbox Micro is completely worth it. I love this thing. I'm not even joking here. I actually like this more than my full-size HITBOX, and I did not expect that to happen. The fact that it's compatible with a bunch of systems right out of the box is a huge plus, and the portability of this is a massive plus. This is what I'm going to take with me to tournaments moving forward, whenever we can go to tournaments again. This can easily fit into a backpack and not get in the way of anything. I can put this in the backpack with my filming equipment and still have room for other stuff. And that's a huge plus. I don't have to worry about breaking this, considering it was run over by a truck and it still worked absolutely fine. When I'm not using this at home, it sits on the side of my desk. When I want to use it, I just pull it in front of me and plug it in. This thing is extremely convenient. The customer service as well for the Snackbox Micro is second to none. JunkFood Arcades has their own Discord and they're extremely active. They're easy to get a hold of and they're very quick to respond. If you're looking for a HITBOX that's built well, portable, and compatible with a bunch of different systems, this might be the HITBOX for you. But on the other hand, if you're looking for something that's maybe a little bit more hefty, or maybe something that has some space for your palms to sit on, or maybe something where you can change up the artwork, this might not be for you. But anyways, that is all I've got for today. Huge shout out to JunkFood Arcades for providing this to me to review. This little thing really blew me away. Let me know your thoughts on the Snackbox Micro in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Thank you everyone, take care.